Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and the name of this show is Let's Live with Thurman Greco, and it's coming to you from scenic downtown Woodstock in our educational television studio. And also, it's coming to you from YouTube, which is on a channel, so we have all of this information. But tonight, we have got a really neat set of guests. First of all, we are here because the Saugerties Shelter, is that the name of it?
Saugerties Animal Shelter.
The Saugerties Animal Shelter is producing a psychic fair tomorrow from 10 until 3. And that's very exciting because in Woodstock, you know, psychic fairs are kind of basic. We have to have psychic fairs. And so we've got one coming tomorrow. And the purpose of this psychic fair is to raise money for
the Saugerties Animal Shelter.
And listen, what is the situation? For people who cannot go tomorrow, but may decide in November or December that they would like to send some money, where do they send it to?
So they can send it several different ways. They can go right online to the SaugertiesAnimalShelter.com, and there are donate buttons on there, or they can mail to the Saugerties Animal Shelter, P.O. Box 45, Saugerties, New York, or to Saugerties Animal Shelter 4 High Street, Saugerties, New York, or they can just stop by and see us.
That's really the best way, you know, because then you get to really see the animals. And you know, it's an interesting thing. I've been here for about 20 years, and I learned, one of the first things I learned was that this was the Saugerties Animal Shelter. But for me, it's the Woodstock Animal Shelter.
Well, we do cover Woodstock as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we used to go, there was a time back in the past when we would go to the dump every week, you know, and there was this building and you would occasionally see these cats walking, and I thought that was so sweet. So we're going to be raising money tomorrow. I'm going to be doing tarot, and I understand we're going to have a psychic.
Yes.
Yeah, there's going to be a psychic.
Who are we going to have?
Bobby Brust.
Okay. And then we're going to have a couple of other people.
An animal communicator, Liz Wazell. There is one other person.
Okay.
Not sure what her name is. As she was kind of a last minute ad, so she's coming.
Oh, so we got a surprise guest.
We do.
Very good, very good. Well, I'm going to be coming out tomorrow, but I'm also going to bring my table in case somebody brings an animal and they want it to receive some massage, because I can give a canine massage or a feline massage or whatever, in case, you know, just in case.
Yeah.
That's something that I always like to do. How many? You tell me you have a lot of animals. What are they mostly?
So we have a lot of bigger dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just counting in my head. 1, 2, 3. I think we have 7 bigger dogs. We do have one medium and one smaller dog right now they're 12 years old. Their owner passed away. We're looking for a foster home or an adoptive home for them. And we have, our cat room is full, so I don't even know how many we have right now, probably about 30 cats.
Yes, you know, it's kitten season, right?
Yeah, in the summer it's kitten season. You know, to me, the single most awful thing that can happen to a pet is to lose the owner when the owner dies.
Well, so we actually counted so far this year, just this year, the first 6 months, we've had 22 animals come in for that reason. Either the owner went into assisted living or the owner died, and they didn't leave any backup.
Right, there's no children, there's no whatever.
Right.
And were you able to find homes for them?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is truly wonderful. Because, you know, the desperation that those animals feel, They served their humans well all those years. Now, these two that you have in there now, that the owner is deceased, can you describe them a little bit?
So one is a little white, fluffy, maybe Maltese Chihuahua mix or something. I'm not sure what she's mixed with. And the other one is a Basset Hound Beagle something mix. She's really cute. They both need to go on a little diet. They're a little chunky, but they're sweet and looking for a home.
Do you ever foster?
Yes.
You do foster. So it's possible to, if you can't find them a home, you can find them a foster?
Correct.
Okay.
We're looking for either.
Okay. So that's something. And if somebody thinks that they'd like to foster an animal, how do they, what's the first step?
Well, if they go on our website, we have applications they can fill out. So there's a foster app on there. That would be the first thing to do. And then we give you a call to come down and chat, and we talk to you and see if you'll be a good fit with who and what they want to foster. And that's how it works.
So maybe you can find somebody, because if you got a part Basset Hound and a part Chihuahua, you've got, that's some charm
They
there.
love each other, though.
Yeah.
They sleep on top of each other. They cuddle together. They're really
That's
sweet.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful. And so when did you guys come up with this idea of a psychic fair?
Well, I think that throughout the year, we have board meetings, and we plan for the events. And so this was sort of in the works for the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months. And there were a number of things we actually did this year, which were amazing. We had our first gala, which we had never had before, and we had an amazing turnout. What do we have, 150 people maybe?
Wow.
Yeah, we had an auction, and we raised, people were so generous. Like the community came out, and it was really such a fabulous evening. So that was the first thing, and then after that, I think we had a music festival, and that was like it was great. It was like a nice Saturday, beautiful day. People came out and listened to bands, and then this is the next thing on the list of the things that we
The psychic fair?
The psychic fair, because I think you need community. You want the people in the community to come, and you want people to see. That's how I got involved in the first place. I was up here, and I heard about something with the shelter, and I went to a fundraiser at what restaurant was that, Ellie?
The Red Onion.
At the Red Onion. I went to a fundraiser. I mean, I had known them because I adopted a cow from them, but and then I started to meet people, and I really liked everyone, and I asked Ellie and Adele how I could get on the board, and we started talking about it, and I got to do that. So
You asked them how you could get on board.
yes, I asked. I said I want to be on the board.
And we just happened to need.
They needed a board member. Right. They happened to need a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good to volunteer your services, right? And
Yes.
your time and the animals, But you were talking about fostering. Like, I'm not allowed to foster anymore because every time I bring a cat into my house, I keep it.
Right, they don't go home.
They don't go home.
That is their home.
They don't go home, so I have 8 cats. So I'm
8 is just a good number.
8 is enough. Remember that TV
It's
show?
a good number.
Yeah. So I'm not allowed to have any more. So, but I can go to the psychic fair, but I can't bring home any more cats. That's the rule.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, that's good to know. That's public information now.
That is public
She can't bring
information.
home any more.
No more cats for me.
No more.
It's been put out there.
Yeah.
In the universe.
It's been put out there.
So, how many people are on the board?
We have 9. I believe it's 9.
And that's a full complement?
I think so. Yes.
That's really nice. So what's the next project that's coming up?
Well, we're in the middle of breaking ground to build a new animal shelter. Did you know that?
Wow.
Yeah.
So how is this going?
It's going great.
It's going great. A little slow, but it's going great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more complicated than you might think because you
Yeah.
have to build a new building, which
We have to get the money,
you have to raise the money.
and then you have to
build-
figure out what you want it to look like,
Right. We have a great architect.
Yes.
and then you have to get it together. That's a big So these projects that you've been doing, these are mainly aimed at the building.
Yes.
Yes.
So there may be many new projects coming along.
Yeah. And we have naming opportunities, which is great, meaning for people who want to donate money specifically for the new building, they can buy a brick, or they can buy a catio, or they could, they could buy a room, like people, and they can have their names on it, or their cat's names on it, or their dog's names on it. It's like a nice opportunity. They could buy a bench.
Now, is this going to be out here on 212?
It'll be it'll still be within the transfer station property, but we're gonna be on the other side and in the woods. So we'll have a barrier to the transfer station, and we'll have our own entrance, so we can have our own hours, have better hours.
Do people still take their trash out there every day?
Mm-hmm.
Every day? You know, I remember when we used to, that was one of the most beautiful things that I did every week was go out there. I mean, you know, taking the trash was an excuse.
It's a beautiful location.
Yeah.
It has a great view.
Yes, it was lovely. And then all of a sudden I looked around one day and I realized that, you know, the County Waste and Waste Management had replaced all of that. Because there go these big trucks around, and they didn't have those trucks in the past.
I remember, my grandparents had a house, so when I was a kid, I'd come up to visit them in Woodstock in the 70s, and they always took their trash over there. That was like our Sunday activity. I think we used to do it on Sundays for some reason. Or I don't remember, but they didn't have anybody come picking it up. Everybody went. I mean, it was like a social event, right?
Yeah.
Like you meet your neighbors, and
Yes.
you talk a little, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, everything's different now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have people who walk the animals?
Yes, we do.
How does that go?
It goes well. It's good for the people. They love to come. They have a regular routine. They come every week.
How
Dogs
organized
know
is that project?
So, I mean, we're pretty easygoing and laid back, so I wouldn't say it's super organized, but we have our people that come on set days and walk, so we try to fill in the days that nobody's there with somebody else. And the dogs love to see them come. We know when they pull in because they start barking. They're like, oh, Liz is here, or Marty's here, yay.
Now, do they have specific animals that they walk, or do they have specific walking times, or how does that work?
So unless we say otherwise, they can walk any animal in the building unless there's a problem that they can't. And they get to know them, so they know their own little quirks and things. Some dogs get to play out in the yard. We have a little pool for them now that it's hot in the shade. They like to go swimming, and they have fun.
And so, I would imagine that there is some separation, not anxiety, but separation grief when somebody gets adopted. And if your
For all of
wife,
us.
if you went and walked on Tuesday and then all of a sudden,
Well, we talk, you know, we message each other and stuff, and they usually know beforehand so-and-so's going home, or, you know, maybe they try to come in and see him before they leave, or they try to be there when they go home. Sometimes we have a little party when they go. It depends on how long they've been there.
and who they are.
Yes.
Yes, and who they are. Well, do you have, I'm going back into my past now. Many years ago, with a fellow healer here in Woodstock, we had a pet grief group. And we met, I think, every other week in the local Episcopal church. And we did this for several months, and we were building up a number of people who were grieving over their pets. And then the church needed the space for something else, so we kind of lost it, and we haven't ever looked again. Do you have any kind of a grief group?
We do not. I mean, people can come in and talk to us anytime. We certainly would, you know, commiserate with them. But no, we don't have a specific group.
Okay, I just was thinking about maybe, you know, I was going back in time with Dawn, because losing a pet is such a special It is a special grief.
Mhm.
It is totally different.
Absolutely.
I had a woman call me a couple of 3 weeks ago, and she had lost a pet, and she said, "Can I just talk to you?"
Aw,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I, for several years, I had 3 little chihuahuas, and they all finally died. And when the last one died, I couldn't even call my friends and tell them. I just couldn't do it. And of course, that upset several of them. So now I'm in the process of sending cards apologizing, but I could not.
Yeah.
I couldn't even discuss it. So, when are the visiting hours?
Well, we are open, we're there from 8 to 3. We'd like people to wait till 11, so we have time to clean and stuff in the morning.
So, they can go play with the pets at 11.
We'd like them to call ahead.
Oh, okay.
We're still, not that we're, just because of COVID and things, we like to keep the numbers down in the room. So if there's a lot of people there, we would like them to call ahead and say, it's all right if I come down. And if there's not too many people, we say, sure, come on.
And can they wear masks?
They can, yes, absolutely.
Well, now we've got a sweetie here, but she is a mascot. She doesn't. And what is her name?
Her name is Cherish.
And you said she's 2 years old?
She's not quite 2. She'll be 2. in
How
a few
did she
months.
find her way
So
to the Saugerties Animal Shelter?
she came to us with a litter of puppies from Louisiana, and she had a heart defect that our vet found. So we had her checked out by another vet, and he said that it was pretty serious, and they really didn't give her, if it was left unchecked, she would have, she would have had like a year. So we took her to Tufts University, and they did a heart procedure. She had pulmonic stenosis, so they put a balloon in and stretch it, and so now they give her a more normal lifespan.
And how many puppies did she have?
She didn't have any puppies.
She came to you
She
with
came
puppies.
as
How many
came
did she
as
have?
a puppy.
Oh, she came as she was in a litter.
Yes.
And what happened to her mother?
I don't know.
The mother did not come. The
The
litter
mother didn't,
came,
yes.
or did she just come by herself?
She came with her siblings.
How many?
I think there were 5 or 6 of them.
Somebody said, let's just load all 6 on the truck and off we go to Saugerties.
We have a rescue group that we worked with down in Louisiana, so they pulled them from the kill shelters down there and put them in foster homes, and do as much vetting as they can down there, and then they send them up to us, and we finish off with whatever vetting they need and put them up for adoption.
And how long were they there? The
At-
6?
At the shelter?
Uh-huh.
Oh, just like a week or 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they were puppies, they went very quickly.
Yes.
Now she's our mascot.
Now she's our mascot.
Yeah, well, she's a wonderful greeter.
Yes, she is.
Do you do any training there?
You mean for outside people?
Like, do you train, puppy classes and?
Last year we had a couple of puppy classes. We had somebody come in and train a class or 2 for us. Once we have our new building, we're going to have a space to do that in, so we can do it in all weather. So that's what we're waiting for now.
How long do you think it's going to be?
For the new shelter, they
Yes.
probably won't break ground till spring.
Oh, it's that soon.
Yeah, we're right at the well driller comes in next week, I guess. And once they drill the well and test the water, the engineers can finish engineering the system, and then they can go out to bid, because it is a town building, so it has to go through all the town stuff too.
When you say you have the town building and has to go through the town stuff, are you talking about Woodstock or Saugerties? Or both?
Saugerties.
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 Yeah. What is the water situation?
We don't know. We'll find out.
You're gonna have to, till they drill.
There'll be some kind of filtration, I'm sure, on it, but hopefully nothing
Well,
too major.
What made me think of that was the fact, they're having Terramar. And I know that every time somebody gets ready to do something in Woodstock, that's the first thing you hear is the water. There's not enough water,
Right.
And
And the traffic. There's too much traffic.
Well,
And not
I-
enough water.
we hear the water before
The traffic.
the traffic. And of course now, traffic, there's just so much traffic now, who cares? It's just not even, it's like, it's not even.
I don't foresee us using a lot of extra water.
No.
Just
No, but
us
still,
busy households worth.
That's just in our minds. Well, do you have any openings for volunteers?
Always.
Yes, always.
Right? You know what we need always? People to foster cats, kittens when they come in. That's a whole job. These baby kittens that don't have their moms, they have to learn how to feed them, bottle feed them, and socialize them because they're not socialized yet. It's a whole process. I've done it several times and it's very rewarding, but it's a lot of work because you have to feed them every 2 hours, like their mom would with a bottle.
You find babies that don't have their mother anymore.
Sometimes.
Sometimes they find babies without moms. Sometimes they find pregnant moms. So they'll foster the pregnant mom with someone, and then when the kittens are born, that person will make sure everything's going well. We have we have a Facebook page dedicated to the
Yeah.
fosters.
Mhm.
So it's Saugerties Animal Shelter Fosters.
Wow.
And Ellie and whoever else knows what Shalyn or Morgan will say, hey, we have 5 kittens that need socializing, who's around, who's available, and you take them home. And of course, I'm not allowed to take them home anymore. But now I just look at it and I say, no, I can't. But other people will take them home. Yeah.
What about guinea pigs and
We do
and
have
chickens?
we have 2 guinea pigs right now.
Sometimes bunnies.
Sometimes bunnies. We don't usually take farm animals because we don't have the space for them.
What do you do?
We refer them to somebody else, like maybe the Catskill Animal Farm Sanctuary, or the Ulster County SPCA can take farm animals.
Well, and then there's the Catskill Animal Shelter. Well, Woodstock used to have one too, but I don't know where it went.
I saw it.
They moved to
It's near where we had our gala on Stage Road, Old Stage Road, off of 9W.
Oh, that's the Catskill Animal
Oh, that's where the
Sanctuary.
Catskill Animal.
Yes.
Okay, right. I don't know where the Woodstock Animal Shelter went. I remember. I mean,
They
Animal
moved, but
Sanctuary.
I don't remember where they went.
And that's not easy to move because they had all these, I went out there several times, they had all these big animals and chicken houses and all kinds of things. Do you have any goats?
No.
Farm animals.
Yeah, that would be farm.
Well, but sometimes people like goats to.
I know they're so cute.
I can say we have had a goat in the shelter before.
Did it go?
Yeah, it belonged to somebody. Somebody came and claimed it.
And got it,
Yeah.
yeah. Because goats are fabulous.
We had little piggy ones too.
Yeah.
Goats are really cute.
I know.
Baby
They're my
goats.
favorites.
Very cute.
Well, goats are extremely intelligent. And I can remember, this really goes back a long way, learning animal communication. And I learned to communicate with animals. There was a goat that taught me how to do it.
I was going to say, how do you learn to do that? Because I think that's the most fabulous thing.
I know. I would love to.
How do you know how to do that? Like, how do you know that? How do you do
Well, for some people, it's a psychic adventure. It is not for me. For me, it is telepathic. I know that there's always the unspoken word, and you feel it. You go into a room and you can sense, that's what I learned to operate on. And like Karen, who was very talented at sound and vision and these things, I really was not a talented animal communicator. And finally, and I was with 25 other people for a weekend, and Sunday was coming up and all these other people were talking to animals and it wasn't happening. And there was this goat by the name of Tippy Canoe. And Tippy just came up to me and taught me. He just started talking to me. And I understood what he said.
That's fascinating.
And
What he said?
well, he just said, you know, you have to learn. One of the things that he did say, though, not that weekend, but the subsequent weekend, he did say, this is not the career field for you. And
That's great.
this is just not for you. And the reason that he gave, because by then I could chatter, I could run my mouth with the best of them, was because a good animal communicator is able to stay grounded and reserved and hear anything without getting emotionally or spiritually involved. And that wasn't me,
Right.
you know.
Gets to be a little
if-
bit more detached, right?
Right. If an animal says something that makes me feel like crying, then that may be what I do. And that's not a good animal communicator. You know, he said you can do other things with animals, but you are not an animal communicator.
So interesting.
And I did take all the classes. And I am not an animal. I do talk to animals all the time, but I am not an animal communicator.
Interesting.
You know?
I talk to my animals, but I'm not sure if they
I
talk back to me.
listen.
They don't listen to me. They might talk back.
Yeah, okay. I did get some tips. Some of the tips that I got were to go to like a zoo. And at the time I was living in the Washington DC metro area, so I went to the big zoo, and I just stopped at the different stalls, and different yards and things, and tried, to talk to animals and ask them, what did they like the food or whatever. And I did get some responses, and I knew in the beginning, and I'm telling you this so that you can, if you get a response and your initial feeling is that answer is not right, that cannot be it. That was a real answer.
Okay.
They'll come and they will say something. That's not what you expect. The unexpected, then that is definitely real.
Okay.
And
Wow.
one of the things that I like to, because I teach animal communication. If somebody wants to learn, I do teach classes. And one of the questions that I have is, what about the food? Do you like the food you're getting? And sometimes they will just look you right in the face and say, no, that canned stuff is terrible. No, well, okay, I asked. Oh,
Wow.
yeah. And of course, if you've got little kitties, are you mostly working with little kitties?
Well, I range because there's 8 of them. We go from pretty old, all the way down to.
Because you might want to ask the little kitties what
What
did
they
your
like.
mother look like?
Oh, yeah. Well, these kittens that I have had like a horrible story. They were found by, I don't know who found them. Somebody, right? Was it you? Or
I don't remember.
somebody who's involved with the shelter found them. I think there were 6 of them, and 4 of them didn't make it. And I have the 2 that did make it. And they're the most amazing animals. They're the most amazing, beautiful, lovely kittens. And I didn't foster them. Someone named Rachel did, and she's amazing. She does work for the shelter, and she turned these little kittens who lost their siblings and their mother into the most incredible little animals. Like, I've never had anything like these cats. You go over to them and they turn over, they roll over on their backs, and they want you to rub their bellies. Like, they're unbelievable. I feel like the luckiest person in the world that I got those cats. Right.
And you got them?
I got them.
The inside track, girl.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to foster them over the holidays. I was in the shelter right before Christmas, just like, saying Merry Christmas to everyone before everybody sort of went away for like 2 weeks. I mean, they go back and take care of the animals, but I wasn't going to see anybody. And there were these 2 kittens in a cage, 2 completely black kittens. And I said, what's the deal? And they told me the story. And I said, oh, they're going to be here over the holidays? I'll take them. So I'll bring them back after New Year's.
Right.
And after New Year's,
Chuck brought them back in tears.
my husband brought them back in tears. I said, I can't bring them back. If you want them to go back, you take them. The
2 days later, he came back with his little grapes, so I'm taking them back.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I mean, if you recognize an exceptional animal, you're in a position, and we got to realize that's one of the reasons that you're paying your dues there. And it's different to send a check than it is to show up.
I agree.
And when you show up, one of the perks is you get to take home the specials.
That's right.
I mean, that's,
You know,
and not feel guilty about it. You
and
don't have to feel
exactly. And I wouldn't want to give. I would give everything I had to the shelter. I mean, they're doing God's work, and I see. I can't do what they do, which is they take the sick animals and the dying animals, and like I can't do that. I'm too emotional. Like I would have 1,000 cats in my house. Like I have to go and then I have to leave. You know.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult, and I don't know. I always say to them, I don't know how you do it, because you see what you see is sort of in shelters like the worst of humans, not the people that work there or the people that go there to adopt, but how the animals get there. The stories, it's horrible. It makes me want to cry when I hear the stories. Cats found, in paper bags in the garbage, in boxes. Like the most horrible stories you can hear is what they hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm crying. See, I get
Well,
very upset about it.
And
about it.
in our country, we see stories, and I do know that I picked up a couple of cats in Miami. I was down there for a week, and I brought them up, and I brought them to the vet, and he just looked at me, and he said, "These cats have been traumatized." Well, so what? That's the past.
That's right.
Now we've got this. But you go to Italy and they're crawling all over the place. Their kids live, kittens living in the trash, kittens living in the corner, kittens living.
You don't have to even go out of our own country. Just
Right.
go south.
Right. I did experience that. Going down into Florida in the winter, I did experience that. It's a whole other world.
Like,
They have
forget-
a whole puppy season, like we have a kitten season up here, they have a whole puppy season too. And they
Right.
find them under sheds and, in the ditches and wherever.
Yeah.
I find a lot in the city, like half my cats came from my backyard in Brooklyn. Honestly, like 3 or 4 of the cats that I have were in the backyard when I moved into my house
Yeah.
before I lived up here. People left them or whatever it was. I mean, and I said we have to take them. We take them.
I heard something that I think is wonderful. I heard somebody say that, now this is pure gossip, that all the new neighbors that she has that came from Brooklyn all went and got a dog. Is that true, that people are coming up here, getting a house and getting a dog?
I mean, during
Yes.
COVID, yes.
That's pretty good.
Dogs and cats.
Yeah.
But dogs mostly because people are home, they're working from home. So before that, if you didn't work from home, or you lived in the city or whatever, you didn't have time for a dog. You couldn't hang out with them. But when you work from home, my husband was making fun of me today. He said, "Oh, what'd you do all day?" He took pictures of the cats because all day long I was sending him pictures of the cats. And I was like, "No, I was working, but I got to work from home and hang out with my cats. I never got to do that, But yeah, I think that was a lot.
And none of those, everybody was afraid that those COVID dogs would be returned after people went back to work, but we didn't get any dogs or cats back for that reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The reason they're all coming in now is because people's apartment houses are being bought up. The people that are renting are being evicted, and they have no place to go that accepts pets. There's nothing.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
You know
Nothing.
what?
It's a huge problem.
I am finding that people have no place to go. you know, not, take the phrase that accept pets, pitch
Yeah.
that one out, just people have no place to go.
Yeah, my son he lived up in Albany, he was working up there, he just took a new job down here, and he's living with us because there's no
There's no place to
literally
live.
no place to live.
Now, see, for
Nothing
me,
affordable.
because I've been here for a long time, but not that long. For me, Albany is better because Albany is not overcrowded and the rents are cheaper and the jobs pay more. So people get more for their money.
I went to SUNY Albany. I lived there for 4 years. I'll tell you this, Albany is colder.
Yeah.
It's only 52 minutes on the thruway, but it is colder and hotter, meaning whatever we have here, it's that much worse than Albany. So, but I guess, whatever. There's nice places to live there, but a lot of snow. I just remember being in college with a lot of snow. There was just pictures of us in May, like laying out like on the grass in college, surrounded by snow. Because it doesn't melt.
No.
You know? So, but yeah,
And how long ago was that?
I'm not telling.
And you still haven't forgotten it.
I haven't forgotten it, no.
You're not gonna forget it.
I'm never going to forget it, how cold I was for 4 years.
It's with you
Let's just say
forever.
it was sometime in the 80s. We'll leave it at that.
Oh my God.
Sometime in the 80s when everyone had crazy hair.
What I would like to do, because now and I have not proceeded at all, is we've got this fair tomorrow from 10 to 3. And I'm very excited about going. And I'm very excited, I'll do canine massage if anybody wants it. I'm coming prepared, I'm ready. What is your next fundraiser? Do you have the next 2 or 3 fundraisers?
We don't.
Well,
okay.
we do. We have lots of little fundraisers,
Yes.
like all year long, like Valentine's Day, right? We have this great fundraiser where you would buy for like $1, right? Like
Yeah.
a heart, and you put someone who you didn't like an ex-boyfriend or an ex-husband, and you put it on the bottom of a litter box. Okay, and that would be in the cat's litter box.
Oh, how cute.
And that made a lot of money.
It did.
It made
People
people
from all over the country.
people from all over the
would
country.
send their money in to have us write their name in the back.
It,
Whatever name they
it
wanted.
went viral. It was amazing. And then we have cuddle sessions with either cats or puppies.
Yeah.
So you can donate $10 or $20, for a certain amount of time, and you can have a private room
And you can visit with them.
with puppies. I did it. I took my mother-in-law for Christmas 2 years ago. That was her gift. We had a private room with puppies, and it was amazing. And it was
Oh my
amazing. So there's always fundraisers going on.
We had a birthday party for Cherish when she turned 1. We may have one. We have a long-term resident. He turns 1 in a couple, like a month or 2. I think we're gonna have a birthday party for him.
What does that
we
mean,
had
a
mother-
birthday party?
Well, we have cake and punch and stuff, and have raffles, and just have people come and enjoy the day. And
Oh,
Money
So
bar.
people come and they make donations and they
Right.
come to the birthday party and they get some punch and cake.
right.
Oh, I think that sounds like
and we're
fun.
always at like the fairs, like the Garlic Fest
Yes.
is coming up
Yeah,
soon
we do
again.
that.
We're at the Garlic Festival. We have like raffles and T-shirts and all kinds of fun stuff there. And then we're going to start soon, I think, planning for our 2nd annual gala, which was amazing. And I hope that this year we get double. We've got 300 people. We have these very nice people donated the space to us. What's it called? The
Fortune Valley Manor.
Fortune Valley Manor. It's like on 9W, in between basically Saugerties and Kingston, I guess,
Kind of
right?
in the town of Ulster. so-
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Saugerties.
venue where they have weddings, and they donated it to us for our auction last year and our dinner. It was amazing, and Ellie put that together.
Yeah.
Like a lot of planning, but
That
we're gonna
was a lot
start
of
to.
work.
You have to start well in advance.
That is a kind of a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
But you know what? If you can find somebody to do it, it becomes very important in that person's life.
Oh, yeah.
Not that you pay them any money,
Right.
but the fact that they get to do it
Mhm.
is really nice.
Well, we have 2 volunteers, husband and wife, Ann and Jim, and they did quite a bit for
Yeah.
that, and also the the music festival. They got vendors for us, and what else did they do?
They're amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
they're great.
They're amazing.
They are
Together, they could put together a whole entire event by themselves. Really,
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you have different bands and things volunteer to put on
Yes.
concerts for you?
Yes, so that the music festival was 3 bands. They volunteered their time. Thunder Ridge volunteered their time at the Blue Jeans Ball. So
yeah, that's what our
everybody-
ball is called, the Blue Jeans Ball.
Everybody wore Western wear and cowboy hats, and it was fun.
It was really fun. Cowboy boots.
Mhm.
It was so fun.
Mhm.
I had such a good time. I really did.
It was good.
So, when is the term of your board up?
We don't really have a term.
That's good.
Yeah,
You're not all that organized.
no, we're a little casual.
I think that's important.
Yeah, I think
You
it's
know?
nice. Last meeting we did it in my house. We sat outside and
Yeah.
we all met, and we talked about what we
Well,
need to do
it's
next.
it's the
nice.
animal shelter after all.
And
Right.
we have someone from the town board because it's a Saugerties Animal Shelter, so that's nice to have someone who's on the town board also be on our board, so there's coordination.
So they have 2 boards to be on.
Yeah, they can have 2 boards.
What is the longest? Tell me about your oldest resident.
We just adopted out our oldest resident, who was Otto. He was with us for 469 days or something like that. I can't
Wow.
remember the exact amount. And he just went home, and 2 amazing people adopted him, and he's loving his life.
Was he ready to go?
He was ready to go. He was ready to go. He was a little wild. He was a youngster when he came, and a little misunderstood, and it took him a while to mature and become a good boy.
What was he? Do you know?
He's a pity mix.
Do you get a lot of pits?
Yeah, we do get a lot of pity mixes, yeah.
Do they all go out neutered?
Yes, absolutely. And if they don't, they get a voucher to be done if they're too little.
And do they do it?
Yeah.
That is something that I think is so important, and a lot of people don't feel that that's important.
I know.
And I think that's an important thing to do.
Yeah.
So how many years has this shelter been open?
Oh, 40 or more.
At least 40 years.
Yeah, Marie Post started it way back when.
Well, and she had it for a long time.
Very long time.
Yeah. Well, hey.
And she passed the torch to me.
So now you're getting ready to have the psychic fair. And do you have one person that manages all of those projects? Or do different people do it?
We all work together on it. We have, now we have 4 employees. We just hired a summer girl, but we all work on it together. Morgan is our tech person. She does our Facebook posts and any other techie things that need to be done. Shallon's our kitty person, and she also does some techie stuff too. She knows all about cats, and
Yeah, if I ever have a cat question, I call Sean. She tells me exactly what to do,
yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
how to do it. Yeah, she's amazing. She's really amazing.
What happens when a new animal comes in?
Well, they're scared. It disrupts the flow of things for a little while till they all get used to each other again.
And about how long do they stay?
It depends. Anywhere from a week to 469 days.
Is a week long enough?
So it depends on what it is. So the puppies, we like to get in their homes as quickly as possible. Then we don't want them growing up in the shelter. It just depends. It also depends when we can get the vet in to see them.
They have to be They
They're
have to have
fully
that.
vetted before they go.
And they have to get their shots.
Yeah, shots and spayed and neutered. And, you know, tested. Cats are tested for feline leukemia and AIDS. Dogs are heartworm tested.
How prevalent is heartworm?
Up here, not so much. Down south, very much so.
What happens when they come to you from Louisiana with heartworm?
So we treat them. Hopefully they treat them before they come. Sometimes they're tested and they test negative down there, and then come up here, and a few months later, or 6 months later, we tell people to get them tested again in 6 months. And sometimes they come up positive, and they have to be treated up here.
Do you have to pay for that treatment?
Depends. Technically, no. But sometimes we do.
What is it? What kind of treatment do you get for heartworm?
So they get 2 shots, 24 hours in between. I don't know what the name of it is. And then a month later, they get an ivermectin shot. But there's several different ways to treat it. It depends on how, but there's what they call a long kill and a short kill. So it just depends on what your vet wants to do.
You have to go with the eggs. You have to
Right.
keep them
Well, that's
from
what that's
hatching.
right. So the month later is supposed to kill the microfilaria.
What about Lyme disease?
Well, I think every dog in Ulster County is positive for Lyme.
So what do we do?
Now they only treat them if they have symptoms.
Like people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They don't
We
know.
don't even test for it. The shelter doesn't test for it anymore.
Well, so they go out and it's so prevalent that they can go out with Lyme disease, but do they never know it?
They may never show a symptom, or if they show symptoms, then, that'll put them on doxycycline.
Well, it's kind of that way with humans too.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you going to do? That's it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Then that's just it.
That's it. That's the way it is.
That's it.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Tell me do cats let you give them massages? Like they just lay there for an extended period of time and let you do that?
Well,
Because I could see dogs, but I don't know something about
no, they really don't.
Yeah.
I teach them, I give a series of 5 massages. And the dog has really got it by the 2nd or 3rd massage. But I give 5 because I want the human to get it, and it takes 5 before they really. But once the animal realizes what's happening, which is by the 2nd or 3rd massage, they will come up to you and offer you a shoulder or a neck. One of my cats every morning wants her shoulders or his shoulders massaged and doesn't care about the rest of the body, wants the shoulders massaged.
I think I have to get you over my house. And maybe I'll bring one of my cats over tomorrow. We'll
Okay,
see.
we can do that.
Yeah.
I will set up my table and put a sheet on it.
He just had surgery, so I'm trying to make sure he feels
What did he have
okay.
surgery for?
They removed a very, very large mass from his bowel.
Oh.
Yeah, like 6 centimeters. Then
Oh.
they had to resect it. They opened it up and put it back in. Took it out and then closed him back up again. He seems to be doing well, but he's, I'm in the middle of talking with an oncologist about what to do. In the meantime, I want to make sure he feels okay. Which is why I'm asking about communicating, and I'm just curious how I know that he's okay. It's hard to know.
Yeah, to ask.
I said to him, I talked to him before the surgery, and I said, listen, buddy, you're going to make it through this. It's going to be fine. He's going to hold on until we get you there, get it done. And he is. He told me he would be. But now I'm curious. I don't know what's happening with him. So I said to Ellie, should I bring him tomorrow? See if what we could find out.
I think that you have hit on the one thing that hinders animal communication. And what happens is you communicate with your animal and you buy into it, you agree to it at that moment. And then 30 minutes, 3 hours, 2 days later, you say to yourself, wait a minute, no, that didn't happen.
Right. Like I
Didn't happen.
I did say to my husband, I spoke to him. Like, and I don't know whether I believe I really spoke to him or I just wanted to speak to him. I don't know, but I was sure he told me he was going to be okay. But but I don't know. But you're right. You have to. It's hard to buy into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you really do it? Yeah. So you
I
go
don't know.
into denial.
I don't know. All I know is he held on until he got there and then he made it through. So
And where did you take him?
I took him to this place in Pattersonville. It's Veterinary Specialties, it's called.
Wow.
Yes, it's pretty far from here, but the surgeons there are amazing. This doctor's name is Dr. Glennon, and I have a great vet from the Saugerties Animal Shelter, Gretchen, who.
So the dog had surgery. Now, will that animal
The
have
cat.
some? The cat had
Yeah.
surgery. Will that animal have some medicine also? Some chemotherapy as well?
So right now I am in the process of speaking with an oncologist. Yeah, but we have to get the slides
Yeah.
stained. It's very complicated. It's funny, I said to someone, my cat has better medical care than I have. I want you to know that right now, that there's his GP, who's our vet, there is a surgeon up in Pattersonville, and I have an oncologist, and they're all speaking to each other. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, this cat is getting really good care. I don't know hopefully one day, if anything ever happens to me, I will have as good care as my cat has.
Well, I think that that's a modern medicine thing, because I think 20 years ago that if animals had cancer, they really didn't treat it.
That's
and
right.
that's because chemotherapy was difficult then. And now it's a lot easier.
Right.
It's easier on us to have chemotherapy, and so the animals, it's easier on them as well.
Yeah, I mean, my first instinct was, no, I'm not going to do that to my cat. I don't want him to get sick. I don't want his hair to fall out, whatever. But then after speaking to an animal and reading about it, I realized that it doesn't necessarily have to be that way for animals. The chemotherapy is not the same as it is for people. So you can't base it on your own personal experience. You have to
Right.
base it on what happens with the animal. So we're working through it, but it's been very challenging for me. He's my old guy.
Well, is your
you know.
cat hiding?
No.
No, so your cat's doing fine.
Yeah.
Your cat's doing better than you are.
No doubt. My cat is doing better than I am. Which is fine with me.
Listen, where can people go tomorrow to participate in the psychic fair? And I really think if you're going to go to, there haven't been an awful lot of psychic fairs lately, so we need to rally forth because we haven't had them in a while. So maybe if we haven't had any in a while, we could have some more, and maybe in the fall or something. So where do they go and what time?
So it's open from 10 to 3. You have to come sign up for your reading, and then there'll be a few other things for you to do while you're waiting for your time, or you can leave and come back if it's too hot. We're going to have
Can you
cool
go and look
places.
at the animals? Can
Yeah.
you go and visit with the animals?
You can go visit with
Well,
the
who
animals.
wants to leave and come back? You can just hang out with the animals.
And we have a boutique.
And our boutique will be open, so
We have a
people
boutique?
can shop there. There'll be at least one vendor, and you can come inside. It's air conditioned inside, so if you get too hot, you can come step inside and cool off. We're gonna have tents up with shade and some fans and things going to keep people cool. And it's right at the shelter.
Are you selling food?
We're having a bake sale,
Okay.
Baked goods.
and we'll have water and things,
Okay, so the bake sale means?
ice pops maybe.
All right.
Cake, cookies.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
we got 5
Oh,
minutes.
no.
So what are some important things to say in the last 5 minutes?
Want me to say something?
Go ahead, you say something.
Ellie likes me for my sound bites.
I know.
Yeah, so, last 5 minutes. Well, I mean, there's nothing more important, to me, there's nothing more important than taking care of our animals because they can't speak, so we have to speak for them. And so I'd love everyone to come down to the shelter tomorrow and check out our psychic fair, and also join us on our Facebook page.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
What's it called?
The town of Saugerties Animal Shelter.
All right.
And become a member, and you'll get messages about what's going on every day, and pictures of the animals, all kinds of good information there. And join us. This is like a celebration of life.
I think that's a wonderful thing, because if they sign up, especially if they can't make it to the psychic fair, they can sign up and find out about all the fun future things that are happening at the town of Saugerties Animal Fair.
You can see pictures of the new building.
And of the new dogs and new cats.
Yes.
Do you have birds?
No birds.
No birds.
No.
Because you don't have birds, or because nobody's brought them in?
Nobody's brought them in.
And then did I hear you say guinea pigs? They had a couple.
We have
of
2 guinea pigs, yeah.
a couple of guinea pigs. Well, already somebody's bound to be ready to sign up for the guinea pigs. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for coming, and thank you, Miss Ellen. You did a great job. We're really looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow between 10 and 3, and thank you very much. And you did wonderful too. You did wonderful.